Happy Tuesday, guys. Welcome to WagerTalk TV. This is Stoppage Time. We took Thursday off last week, but we are back. A couple shows this week, Tuesday and Thursday. Kevin Dolan, Bryan Power, myself, and Nick Borman on Tuesday. Pavlos will fill the sports memo seat on Thursday. 3 EPL games and then 1 from Spain, because we have the King of Spain on the show, of course, Kevin Dolan. We're going to do Arsenal-Chelsea. That goes today at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. A couple of games from tomorrow. Liverpool and Fulham, Man City and West Ham. And then we're going to finish it off with Valencia and Villarreal, which also goes on Wednesday. Let's bring the boys in. Kev, I'll go to you first since you're the King of Spain. And how's your soccer week past week? Mine, not too bad. A down Sunday after a very good Saturday, but 13, 8-2, 7 days for me for a little bit of profit for my clients, which is always good. How was yours?
It's been good overall, but a bit of a tale of two continents, to be fair. Had my first losing week in MLS over the weekend. We had a 5% play up on Kansas City on Saturday. I believe Pavlos was on the exact same play as me. Still not entirely sure what happened. Great situational spot for Kansas, obviously winless on the season, returning home. Their metrics were actually decent as well, playing, the league's worst road team in Montreal, and somehow still found a way to come up short in that game. So disappointing to have the first, losing weekend of the season so far. But Europe has been red hot, 8-0 run now over the weekend in European soccer best bets. We had Paderborn in Germany on Friday. We had a 3-0 sweep in England on Saturday. King of Spain, we had Atletico Madrid, easy winner on Sunday. We had Bohemians in Ireland last night. So they actually beat you and Nick's beloved Cork City, thrashed them 5-0. So interesting result there. So, Europe's been red hot, hoping to bounce back in MLS this weekend coming. So things going pretty well right now.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that the Cork City Bohemian game. I actually you put it in the group for us, and then I went to look to bet it, didn't see it. I'm like, oh, it must have started. I checked the first score. I see it's 2-0 and a red card to Cork City. I'm like, why didn't I wake up a little earlier? So that one's on me, but good call on that one. And I get, listen, you couldn't get me to bet Montreal in the MLS. That team is going to have a dismal season. I don't know how they found a way to win, but they will have a lot more losses than they do wins this season. I think just auto fading them might be a good thing. Nick, how are things for you?
Things were rolling great in soccer until Saturday. Had a bad day on Saturday, but bounced back on Sunday. And then yesterday had just one play, which I don't know how Sevilla did not score yesterday in that match. I had both teams to score. Somehow they didn't. Girona got on the board, and I'm like, all right, perfect. That means Sevilla will score at some point. First time they haven't scored at home since before the World Cup break, go figure. Anyway, overall, been a good run in soccer. And, of course, we have another big golf tournament coming up this week. I did buy Kevin his tickets. I sent them in the mail. Kev, I expect to see you on grounds on Thursday.
Yeah, Kev's a huge fan. He really is. Between tennis and golf, I don't know how he finds any time to cap European football. But with that said, I'm going to have a deal for you guys for the final month of domestic league soccer. It's a great deal. I'll have it after the second game that we do, the Liverpool Fulham game. But first, we have to hear from Bryan. Bryan, how are things going across all sports for you?
Going great, Carb. 5 straight winning days, 16-7 overall during that stretch. That includes 6-3 in soccer, 75% all soccer sides the last 7 days. Talk about Spain. I, too, had Atletico on Sunday and had Girona yesterday as well. I was surprised, Nick, that Sevilla did not score. I actually took them with the half-goal head start in that one. Obviously, if I had the time machine, I would go back and bet them 3-1 on the money line, but no time machine behind me, so I'll take the win there. Should have been a 2-0 sweep, though, yesterday. Really disappointed with Leicester not being able to get the win. I said Vardy would score. He did. You figure 2 goals against Everton. That's 3 points, right? It wasn't. So I had to settle for the split, but it was 4-2 overall yesterday. Again, that's 5 straight winning days. Got a deal right now on my page because MLB is running ridiculously red hot right now. 22-9, last 31, up 66 units going back to October. If you act right now, this limited time deal, $79 gets you all MLB, all soccer for the next week. So people can check that out at my page right now. And obviously they can do it right now, or they can wait till we break down these 4 matches here over the next 40 minutes. Looking forward to doing that, of course.
No, do it right now if you guys are out there. Or actually, wait till Kevin is talking about the Arsenal-Chelsea game, and that's a good time to head over to Bryan's page over at WagerTalk and pick up that package. But good on you on getting those wins. That Leicester game got me yesterday as well, too. I liked both the over and Leicester, but didn't want to go with 2 plays, went with 1. The first 10 minutes of it was all Everton, and I'm like, okay, how do I get out of this bet? Let me see if they can at least stem the tide and the pressure and then start playing some better football. And they did. Up 2-1, I thought they weren't going to lose this game, but this is why they're in a relegation battle, both these teams, because they always find ways of either sharing points or losing games from winning positions. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. All right, guys, let's get to the first one. This one goes today at 3 p.m. It is Arsenal and Chelsea. The odds on this one: Arsenal -1. These were the openers: -154. The draws +300. Chelsea +400. Arsenal are up to, at some spots, I saw as high as I think 170, 175, even 180. So they are definitely getting the money on this one. I'll look at this one quickly, and then I'll send it over to Kev for his thoughts on this. One prop bet, and it's going to be a reoccurring theme on the 2 games that I look at today, is a team to win and the number to go over the total. And today it's obviously Arsenal win and over 2.5. This number started at +137, is down to about 125 on game day today. Now I get it. Chelsea, 5 straight losses, winless in 8 games. They've only scored 1 goal in their last 7 games. So how can I take the over 2.5 goals in this game? Well, we've seen what's happened to Arsenal. A lot of regression for this team. They've only kept 1 clean sheet in their last 7 games, or no clean sheets in their last 7 games, only 1 in their last 10 games. So maybe that's some good news for Chelsea. But even so, I could see Arsenal winning this game 3-0 and getting back on the board. This does seem like a 2-1 game, 3-1 game for Arsenal here. So I'm going to take the plus money, avoid laying that juice with Arsenal, and take Arsenal win and over 2.5 goals at plus money here. It's plus 137, but on game day, it's at 125 right now. But for our graphic, it's going to show 137. And I'll head over to Kev for his thoughts on this game. Kev, I know you love doing Chelsea games. What is wrong with this team?
Oh, I mean, we could delve deep into it, Carmine, but we probably don't have enough time on the show. Look, I mean, in fairness to Chelsea, it's been no secret what my strategy has been over recent months. Walk to the window, bet Chelsea's opponents, spend the cash. It's just been that simple week after week after week. But you seem to be a little bit more bullish on Arsenal for this game than me. At 3/4, as you said, at opener -155. I actually seen it that I was thinking about jumping in. But where it is right now, minus a full goal, I just can't trust Arsenal to win this game by 2 goals, in my opinion. Mikel Arteta came out yesterday, said the title race is still on for Arsenal. The players have the fire in their belly required to win it and so on. But to be honest, Mikel, you're not fooling me. I reckon away from the cameras, away from the bright lights, away from the press, when he's staring at his alarm clock at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, he knows this title race is over. The players know it's over. I know it's over. You know it's over. The books certainly know it's over. Because City are going off at around -1,800 to -2,000 right now to lift the title. So I think the fight's left Arsenal a bit, in all honesty. They have a really tough set of games now coming up against Newcastle and Brighton after this one. Well, City, they got West Ham, Leeds, Everton, so you would expect them to get maximum points. So even the run-in is markedly different here. So I don't want any part of Arsenal in this one, even against Chelsea. But especially at this price, as I think their morale has bottomed out after those 4 matches with their victory. But by the same token, I'm not taking Chelsea either. So The bet I like in this one, you kind of touched on it in your breakdown, is Chelsea to score exactly one goal at plus 125 later today. You know, Chelsea obviously have been in some absolutely abysmal form in front of goals. Just one goal scored across the last 5 Premier League games and all. In fact, no team has scored fewer goals across 2023 than Chelsea have. But, as you also mentioned, they do face an Arsenal team here that haven't been great defensively over the last few months. Arsenal ranked bottom half in the league in terms of defensive XGA since February 1st. You have to go all the way back to March 12th to find the last time Arsenal were able to keep a clean sheet in the game as well. 11 goals allowed across just the last 4 starts. So I have no faith in backing this Chelsea team from a side perspective, but big London derby, they've scored in 4 straight head-to-heads against Arsenal inside the Emirates. So as poor as they've been in front of goals, I'm thinking that Chelsea managed to find a goal somewhere in this game, and a plus 125. I quite like that price.
All right, Kev. And Kev, listen, I get it. And this is why I'm looking at trying to find a play within a play within a game, because I don't want to lay the 180 with Arsenal, even though I believe they should win. I don't want to lay a goal and have to hope for a 2-goal victory in this one. But and the total's at 2.5. You've got to lay about 40 cents in juice on the over. So combining the two, an Arsenal win and over 2.5 gives you a couple different ways of getting there. The one of the lowest priced exact score odds, other than Arsenal 1-0, 2-0, and a 1-1 draw, which are all at plus 750, is the Arsenal 2-1 exact score line, which is obviously a common score, and that's at plus 800. So essentially, those 4 have the same one, and I'm willing to take that. I might actually sprinkle a little bit of money on that 2-1 exact score, because I could see something like that happening. But hopefully we get some goals and an Arsenal victory in this one. One game where we should see some goals is this one tomorrow, and Bryan and Nick are going to break this one down. This Liverpool and Fulham. Looking at the odds on this one, Liverpool minus 450, the draw is plus 400, Fulham plus 800. Bryan, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Unbelievable game the other day with Liverpool and Tottenham. I had the over in that game, and I was happy at halftime I could turn it off. I didn't have to watch a Tottenham game anymore. I'm done with this team. But 3-1, and then I get an alert that it is 3-3. So I click it on to watch the last few minutes of injury time, and of course, what happens? Liverpool gets the game winner, completely bottled by Tottenham in that one. A Liverpool win. They're still pushing for one of those top European spots. Can they get there? And what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Karma, I guess you could say Liverpool never trailed on Sunday, but that would be, I guess kind of underscoring what transpired. Like you, I turned it off at halftime. I was like, well, I tweeted about it. I said, this is over. And I get a text from my buddy who's a Spurs fan. I said, what is this guy talking about? And I look at the final score. I missed it. I was out to brunch at the time. And I said, oh, my God, what a just horrible punch. I can't even repeat what the text said here on the air, but needless to say, Spurs fans are just apoplectic at this point. It's going poorly. They're not going to finish in a European place, in my opinion. But don't look now, guys. Liverpool, top 5 side in the league, and it is deserved. They're 5th in expected goal difference, 4th in actual goal difference, plus 23, coming off the wild 4-3 win. And I don't expect them to get 3 early again like they did on Sunday, but they should not, as you alluded to, Carm, have much problem scoring on a Fulham side that's neck and neck with Everton and Nottingham Forest, 2 of the relegation threatened sides for the worst expected goals allowed in the league. Just a quick sidebar here. There's only been 3 seasons in EPL history where all 3 newly promoted teams survived relegation. Fulham and Bournemouth this year are looking pretty good. Forest probably still in trouble. I would imagine they're going to go back down. But I've got to say, you look at the data. Nick can touch on this because I know he looks at the data quite carefully. All 3 of these newly promoted sides this season, they rank near the bottom in expected goal difference, near the bottom in expected points. Whoever does end up surviving out of that trio, whether it's 1 team, 2 teams, I think strong relegation candidates next season. I don't have a lot of faith in any of those clubs moving forward. But back to Fulham, the reason they're going to stay, because they obviously have the best chance, they're safe. And the reason they're going to stay in the Premier League next season is their gap between actual and expected goals is just allowed. It's just massive. Understat has it at 17.29. That's the biggest positive gap in any of Europe's big 5 leagues, What does that tell me? Defensive regression on the horizon moving forward. Just so happens Liverpool, as you guys know, number 3 in the league, goals scored, number 2 in expected goals. And since rescuing that 2-2 draw against Arsenal last month, unbeaten 5 straight is Liverpool, 17 goals scored. My only concern with betting the over at 3.5 here would be Fulham, who's already without Mitrovic, as we know, still suspended. Tim Ream now, broken arm, top 2 goal scorers out for the year. I'm not confident that they're going to get on the score sheet. This is a side, they've scored more than 1 goal only twice in their last 8, and those were against Everton and Leeds, 2 of the worst defensive sides in the league. So here's what we're going to do, guys. Let's just bet Liverpool over the team total 2.5. It's minus 120 right now at DraftKings. I have no doubt in my mind that Liverpool is going to put the ball in the back of the net multiple times in this one.
All right, Bryan Power, WagerTalk. Nick, and he mentions it. Liverpool's sitting in 5th right now, 7 points back of Man City. Man City does have a game in hand. Other than a complete collapse by Newcastle or Man United, which I can't see happening, even Liverpool is literally likely stuck in a Europa League spot next season. Despite they have a good run out. Fulham, Brentford, both at home at Anfield. Then they're at Leicester, Aston Villa, and Southampton. Those are all games that they could and probably will win. At the end of the day, it's not really going to mean much. When I look at Fulham, and we talk about Fulham, Nick, it's the same angle I looked at this weekend when I had a bigger play on Brighton, which is Fulham are a spot right now where you can expect some regression. They are safe from relegation, and they're sort of somewhere in the middle of nowhere in 10th, 11th, much like Wolves were, who were safe. And you just wonder about how motivated this team is. Wolves weren't and got blown out 6-0. Do we see a similar scoreline here or just a big Liverpool win?
Maybe. I mean, the question isn't how, if Liverpool's going to score, it is how many. I mean, there's definitely, you hit the nail on the head as far as trying to find these teams these last few weeks of the year that just kind of sit mid-table and just don't have much going on. That's where they get cute usually, try to rotate some younger guys in, get some minutes with them. Maybe it's a little too soon for that to happen yet. However, Liverpool have just been playing great finally. But the one thing that has not changed for them is that their defense is still leaking goals. So I don't trust them. Bryan mentioned that he wasn't sure that Fulham might get on the board. I think Fulham does get on the board, but even if they don't, I think Liverpool is going to get 3 goals here in this match. I don't necessarily trust laying. The goal spread right now is minus 1.75. So even on a 2-goal Liverpool win, we're only getting paid half of our wagers. So I don't really trust them to win by 3 goals. It certainly could happen. It could be, like you said, Carm, 5-0. But I do trust them to get at least 3 goals themselves. I'm just not sure if they'll be able to keep Fulham off the sheet because they simply can't do that. And over their last 4 matches offensively, 15 goals. Like we've talked about before on this show, that hasn't been their problem. They still rank 2nd in the league, 2.1 expected goals per 90, behind only Man City. Defense, Bryan mentioned the 4-3 win over Spurs. I mean, up 3-0 in 15 minutes and need a 94th minute winner is pretty embarrassing. They've also allowed every team to score during their current 4-match winning streak, which includes allowing to Nottingham. And then, they've covered this goal line only once during that stretch, which was that 6-1 blowout win over Leeds. So I just don't trust this defense to really cover this number. And in fact, I hope they do allow Fulham to score, because what I'm going to suggest is, instead of taking Liverpool on any sort of goal line, or obviously the money line, that's way too big, is to take Liverpool and pair it with something. I'm looking at over 2.5 goals, which is a little juicy at about minus 150, but that kind of brings a lot of results into play. If it's a 3-0 Liverpool win, we're fine. If Fulham gets on the board, I mean, this thing should have no problem getting over that total. Worst case would have to be a 2-1 for Liverpool at that point, but I do think they find a way to score 3 in this match. Liverpool have seen 21 of 33 matches reach at least 3 goals, while Fulham's a little bit higher than that, 22 of 33. So I think Liverpool will get there themselves, and I think they win this game. So I like Liverpool plus over 2.5. Again, a little juicy at minus 150, but I just, too many ways I see this score hitting that bet.
All right, there you go, Nick. And I was quickly looking at the exact scores because I love to mention these things on the shows when we talk about Liverpool. And the two lowest prices as far as exact scores are plus 700 on Liverpool 2-0, and then plus 800 on Liverpool 3-0. So you look at the total, and the total sits at 3.5, but they're making you pay a lot of juice if you want to take the under in that one. I see it at minus 130, minus 135 on our WagerTalk live lines, where you can get a lot of good free information. So head over to the site and check out our live section, and you can check the Premier League odds there. Guys, before we head into the Man City West Ham game, I want to mention a promo. We're into next week. The semifinals of Champions League is here. A lot of great stuff still going on. The runouts, a lot of big races in the big domestic leagues. You can get $50 off a 30-day all-access package that is normally $199. You can get it for $149 by using code FINAL50, and you can use that for any of the guys on the show, as well as Pavlos, who will be on Thursday's show. So Final50, get 30 days soccer all access. That includes all 5% plays as well. And of course, like I said, next week, semifinals of the Champions League, Europa League, and the Europa Conference League, all the League One fixtures being played next week. So you'll get a ton of plays, including MLS. These guys are killing it in MLS, so take advantage of that deal. All right, let's head over to back to the Premier League and a game a game with now the top of the league team, Man City. Man City minus 450. The draw is plus 550. West Ham, the Hammers, are plus 1100. Nick, I'm going to make this quick because I can hear the construction outside my door, and I don't want to have to mute myself for the rest of the show. This is one prop I've given out on the show many times this season, and it's the Man City when they're playing at home. Man City to win and over 3.5. This prop has hit 17 of 27 home games for City across all competitions, and each and every time it is plus money because of the goal total being at 3.5. It is at plus 130 for tomorrow's game. Man City win and over 3.5. I'm going to keep it short and simple. I'm going to play a stat that has been profitable all season long for City at home. This team's going to just want to continue to win these with Champions League right around the corner. They need to put some space between themselves and Arsenal, and then focus on Champions League. So a big win I expect for City at home. Give me the City win over 3.5 goals plus 130, and I'll throw it to you, Nick.
I like it, Carm. I mean, obviously, I don't think there's anyone in the show that's going to expect anything other than a Man City win, but lay 450? No. Lay 2 goals? No. So how do you get down on Man City? You got to pair it with something. I like over 3.5 because what I'm going to suggest is very similar to that. It's Man City plus both teams to score, which is as high as plus 170. At BetMGM, I'm seeing it at plus 150 at DraftKings. So it's good price, just a little bit higher actually than the one you suggested, Carm. And really, it's on the same premise. I mean, we're going to see goals. That's not a question. City, could end up winning 4-0 and cover yours, Carm, and not my suggestion. But they have allowed a goal in 5 straight Premier League matches and 10 of their last 12. So exactly 1 goal, perhaps, for West Ham is another way to play this, or maybe West Ham team total over a half a goal. But exactly 1 goal is at plus 160. So that's a simple way to do this too. But Man City, I mean, it's not like, they're allowing to the best teams in the league. The list includes Fulham just this past weekend, Leicester, Southampton, Bournemouth, and Nottingham, which of course West Ham is as bit of and better than any of those teams. So you'd fully expect them to be able to create some chances in this match. The Hammers are coming off scoring 3 goals this weekend, although that was a 4-3 shootout with Palace, which I certainly didn't expect. I was on the under of that match. But that's 8 straight Premier League matches that they've gotten on the score sheet, and that includes matches against Liverpool, Arsenal, and Newcastle. So they're scoring against the better clubs as well. Add in the Europa Conference League for them, and it's 12 straight games for the Hammers on the sheet. So I think the Hammers, will have the confidence to score here. They certainly struggled in the first half of the season, but they've been much better as of late in actually converting those chances. And Man City has proven that they let them in. So I'm going to go Man City plus both teams to score. Same idea as you, Carm, and it's a decent plus price. So I like that option for this match.
All right, and listen, man, David Moyes isn't. They aren't safe yet, but the teams behind them, they're on 34 points. Having played a game less than Nottingham, Everton, so this is their game to make up. But teams behind them don't seem to be moving much. It is a bunch of red L's if you look at the standings for the teams in the bottom four right now. Nobody seems to want to avoid relegation as we head into the last month and a month and a week or so of this Premier League season. All right, we are heading over to Spain for the final game of the day. It is Valencia and Villarreal. This is also on Wednesday's soccer card. Odds on this one, Valencia. This is pretty even across the board, boys. So, plus 184. The draw is plus 242. Villarreal plus 148. Kev, you're the king of Spain. Where are we going here?
I wrote an article for this game yesterday over on the WagerTalk news site, Carmine, and I advised the play on the both teams to score. I think it was around minus 150, minus 155. It is a little high, obviously, at least a little higher than I generally like to lay, but it's still the only way I would look on this one, from a betting perspective. Tomorrow, Valencia have been all about their home form in La Liga this year. 24 of the 33 points gained this season have come inside the Mestalla, but despite their recent hiccups against Real Valladolid and Sevilla across recent games, Valencia face a Villarreal side in this one that have been one of La Liga's strongest sides over the back half of the season. Only Atletico and Barcelona have generated more total points in the league since March 1st than this Villarreal side have. So this is a really tricky game for both teams on Wednesday, not just in terms of Valencia's fight for survival, obviously, but also Villarreal's, push for a potential Champions League spot as well. So, given the fact Villarreal have kept 0 clean sheets across the last 5 games in La Liga, given the fact also that Valencia have kept just 1 clean sheet across that same time frame as well, I am expecting goals in this one. And for both teams to find the back of the net as a result. So both teams to score, yes, for me. Between Villarreal and Valencia on Wednesday. Don't care who wins, as my old pal Pavlos would say.
All right. Sorry, I just had to make sure I was unmuted with the construction noise. Bryan, I'm going to give you the final word on this. Listen, this is a game in the years past I used to love watching just because they were both so competitive in La Liga. You would see them battling for spots in the top 6, and that's just not the case with this Valencia team this year. Villarreal has always been one of the better defensive teams as well in La Liga with low goals against numbers, but it's almost like these teams are a shade of their former selves. Well, at least Valencia is. Give me your thoughts on this one. Do you agree with Kev, or are you going a different way?
I could see both teams to score for sure, Carmine. And you talk about Valencia being disappointed. I think they've been up in the top flight since I think like 86. It's the late 80s, I know. So it would be a shock to see them drop down to the Segunda Division. We don't talk about these teams too often on the program. The crowded relegation battle in La Liga, obviously, there's so much attention to the relegation battle that we over in England in the Premier League. But here in Spain, 6 sides separated by just 4 points. 2 of them will drop. Obviously, Elche, as soon as today, could be confirmed as being relegated. But of the other 6 facing relegation, Valencia, to me, is by far the best. I've written about this before in my analysis. They've only been outscored by 4 goals all season. And based on that, this should, stress the word should, be a mid-table side. But for whatever reason, they're just not getting consistent results. They're a lot better at home. As Kevin mentioned, beat Elche 2-0, Valladolid 2-1, stoppage time winner. I had that one last week. But over the weekend, then they lose 2-1 to Cádiz. Disappointing heading into this one. And the problem is, guys, after facing 3 bottom 7 sides, now they're facing a top 5 team in Villarreal, who, I don't think they're going to get top 4, but, maybe they believe, and they're off a nice week. 4-2 win over Espanyol. I had them there. 3-1 over Celta Vigo. Should have had them there. And then, It should be noted they lose the previous two before those. Kevin alluded to this a little bit. In both of those losses, Villarreal dominated possession. The loss to Sevilla was pretty brutal. The game winner there was scored in stoppage time. Yes, speaking of dominating possession, I know Valencia did the same over the weekend, but injuries piling up for them. I just cannot see them winning here, despite kind of the quote-unquote must-win nature. Over their last 18 league matches, Valencia have lost 12 times and won just 4. Meanwhile, Villarreal's won 5 of its previous 7. I would play Villarreal on the draw no bet line. It's down to minus 120 right now. I think that's a pretty good price. Feeling a little frisky. Maybe you can play the draw. Could be 1-1. Like Kevin said, both teams score and everybody's a winner. But I think the safest bet here is Villarreal, draw no bet. But I expect them to collect all 3 points on Wednesday.
All right, good to hear. And yeah, you are correct. Must win doesn't always equate into will win. It is one of the big fallacies out there. Do not make that part of your handicapping decision making. Guys, before we head into our recap segment and to see what the guys have up at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, it's Tuesday, so it's $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. $2 Tuesdays is where you can get a featured Cappers Plays for only $2, and it has some great promos in the analysis section over at WagerTalk, the Gold Sheet, with its first 5% MLB play of the season. You can head over there and pick that up for only $2 and take advantage of some great promos. And then a Sports Memo, 3 cappers. You can get all 3 for $5 or each capper separately for $2. Jesse Schul with an MLB play. He's 70% year to date with MLB. Joe D'Amico, one of the nicest humans you can meet, has an MLB home run play, and R&R Totals has a 5% top NBA total. He's hidden at 66.9%. Again, you can get each one of those guys for $2 or all 3 for $5 over at Sports Memo with some great deals. Let's head into our recap, and we're going to go to Nick first. Nick, what do you have up at Sports Memo? And we'll have a look at your leans on the screen.
Carm, I have one play going today, Tuesday. Best bet total going off in La Liga. And I have this week's golf pack loaded up, which obviously tees off on Thursday. It is a big designated event, so big time field for the Wells Fargo Championship. And then, of course, we'll have more plays posted on the weekend. I'll throw out there, if you have time, make sure to head over to the WagerTalk news page. Kevin and I are putting up weekly league previews for the Big Five plus MLS. Him and I each break down the leagues and preview 3 matches, every weekend. So there's tons and tons of free information in there as far as betting angles on all those Big Five leagues. So worth a read. Definitely check that out as well.
All right. And best of luck to you. Kev, we'll go to you next to let us know what you have up at WagerTalk, and we'll have a look at your leans on the screen.
Yeah, we got 2 soccer best bets loaded up for today and tomorrow's cards, Carmine, over in Europe. Like we mentioned at the start, been red hot, 8-0 run across European soccer plays across the weekend into Monday. So definitely a great time to jump on board, especially using that final 50 offer that you mentioned previously. Apart from that, our 5% NBA juggernaut play goes off tomorrow night. Really excited about this one. We're 8-0 across all 5% NBA player releases across the last 2 seasons. And still, WagerTalk's #1 NBA profit leader since the start of the 2018-2019 season. So we don't fire often on these big 5% NBA playoff releases, but obviously when we do, they've been absolute gold. So plenty to look forward to over the next couple of days.
All right, good to hear, and good luck, man. We'll see you on Thursday, of course. Bryan, let us know what you have up at WagerTalk.
Yeah, again, guys, talked about it at the top. Rolling 5 straight winning days, 16-7 overall. Had a 5% winner myself in the NBA over the weekend. A real sweat as that came down to the final basket of the game and the over, but I'll take the win nevertheless. I'm not going to give it back. MLB hit on this going back to last year. It's playoffs just has been incredible. Up 66.3 units. Won 67% of my plays, 52, 26-2 overall. That's #1 at WagerTalk during that time. And 22-9, last 31 on the diamond after a 2-0 Monday. Also, with soccer, I mentioned 75% sides last 7 days. #1 this season with plays rated 4% or higher in EPL, La Liga, and Serie A. And you can take that last 50 deal, or with me, limited time only, get the full week of MLB and soccer. Just $79 gets you both sports. Head on over to my page. No code needed. I do have a play in soccer posted. I have a best bet in MLB posted for Tuesday. Wednesday soccer will be on its way after lunch, and I may have some NBA tonight as well. I have a phone call to make. We'll wait and see what I hear on that phone call, and then may fire or we may not, but I don't know. But nevertheless, we're going to keep rolling this week, Carmine, and looking forward to it. Please jump on board.
All right, let's hope that phone call goes well for you, and best of luck. Myself, just one play up right now in soccer, coming off a 13-8-2 a week. Hope to keep the winning run going. And then, of course, in hockey, I'll have some plays up. It is game one of a couple of series that go tonight. I'll be on Puck Time, hosting Puck Time with Andrew McInnes, and we'll have Don Buster on at the top of the hour. Hockey's been unbelievable this season, plus 145 units on the year, and we'll try to keep it going. So pick up that one-day all access and get every single play, including some MLB plays that I'll have up later on today as well. 15-8 run in MLB as well too. Guys, we will be back on Thursday. Kevin and Bryan fill their regular seats, and Pablos will be filling in the sports memo seat. We'll look at some interesting games coming up this weekend in domestic league soccer, and then we'll be back next week with leg one of the semifinals of the Champions League. We have that great promo Final 50, where you can get $50 off a 30-day soccer all access, which includes all 5% plays. For myself, Kevin Dolan, Bryan Power, and Nick Borman, this is Stoppage Time. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.